Like other renowned military thinkers such as Sun Tzu, Antoine-Henri Jomini, Karl von Clausewitz, and Alfred Thayer Mahan, Machiavelli offers many and varied insights into the implementation of grand strategy, the formation of military strategy, the selection among military strategies, and the relationship of each of these to various styles of military command. As we synthesize Machiavelli's teachings on these matters, it should become clear that Clausewitz's assertion that Machiavelli was a very sound judge of military matters applies at least as much to Machiavelli's understanding of higher-order subjects as to his judgment regarding logistics, manpower, weapon systems, and tactics. Machiavelli offers extensive guidance on how best to operate at various levels of conflict. Some of this guidance comes in the form of general rules, as when he exhorts princes never to remain neutral if their neighbors are at war, or when he insists that one must always assume that any apparent error committed by an enemy is in fact a trap. As quickly as he lays down such rules, however, he identifies exceptions. In fact, he seems ultimately to suggest that the ironclad rule in war is that there are no ironclad rules. Indeed, his most essential purpose is not to give rules that relieve one from the labor of thinking through particular situations, but instead to cultivate a certain type of thoughtfulness about particular situations, an especially intense and far-reaching version of what we sometimes call situation awareness and situational understanding. He seeks to do so on each of the levels of conflict and about the relationships among them. His efforts to cultivate this type of thoughtfulness can be considered by analyzing his treatment of specific military commanders or captains whose status places them between the operational and strategic levels during specific wars of a specific republic, that of Rome, as it prosecuted its specific grand strategy. This emphasis on specifics will not keep us entirely clear of general guidance and rules, but it will help to hedge against the powerful tendency, discouraged by Machiavelli, to rely overmuch on doctrines. Reliance on doctrines, while unavoidable, especially for enormous, multi-service contemporary militaries, tends to become thoughtless dependency, even in otherwise thoughtful individuals and groups. It tends, in other words, to become the single most pernicious instance of relying on what Machiavelli calls the arms of others, as distinct from relying on one's own arms, which is at bottom the type of thoughtfulness he most seeks to cultivate. To rely on doctrines is to rely on others' arms, since doing so necessarily entails a dependence on received teachings that have not been entirely thought through by the recipient. This dependency may serve well enough, and even be essential, at the lower levels of command, since infinitely many actions must become second nature.